All right, let's do the rundown on Jamie Oliver here. You've got a restaurant empire, TV shows, more than a dozen best-selling cookbooks. You helped train disadvantaged kids in the restaurant biz, helped the plight of some farm animals. You forced the British government to improve school lunches. You exposed exactly what the kids are actually eating in American cities, and you pissed off a few people there too. That's a big thing about Jamie, right? Loads that love him, while others, he just loves to wind up. So if you've done all that, what do you do next? Well, you need a road trip, my friends, and Jamie decided to hit the road, traveling across Europe and Northern Africa.
You see them knocking up meals with nothing, but with 3 or 4 veg.
To discover not just new cuisines, but new cultures.
I'm going to make a tangier. Tangier is obviously a method to cook, and you cook it in embers, right?
Jamie's Food Escapes is really about a return to tradition. Simple, humble, dare I say, naked foods like risottos, kebabs, terrines, meals that are fundamental to the local culture. See, to Jamie, it's not just about the recipes, it's about how you can use food to draw people together, bring people to the table, break a little bread, and learn about each other in the process.
Do us manote. I'm speaking. I don't speak Spanish.
Jamie Oliver!
How you doing, brother?
Come on, man. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
Welcome back.
How's it going?
That's well. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
You're always welcome here. You're always welcome. What's
Back in the old red chairs,
That's
eh?
right. I mean, you've been on the road so much, man. Have you, like, doing this as long as you've been doing this, how do you feel about where the career's at?
I don't know. I just tend to try and do things that I'm really passionate about now. There's really, I don't feel there's any pressure to do anything other than just try and be creative, have fun. I think food is exponentially brilliant. Do you know what I mean? There's always something really, really good going on, something exciting happening. It can be right next to you, it could be just down the road, it could be in another country. So I just love it. And I think as time goes on, like, my sort of career's changing a bit, and the things I can do are different. And I think, you know, just enjoying, you know, especially now at 15, I don't know if you remember 15, my restaurant, where we take the young kids and we train them, and, you know, it's our 10th year next year.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Seeing our students now becoming head chefs and sous chefs, I mean, like, you know, the pride in that is overtaking the pleasure I'm getting from a lot of other stuff. So, yeah, it's good times, man.
Well, and that's the sense that I think there is some sort of inherent pressure that you put on yourself to not just talk about food. Like, there is, you know, the pressure to be socially relevant in some way, to have a cultural impact in some way.
Yeah, but I think also my views of that are changing as well, really. I think, you know, just doing things that are socially good, or if you've got a voice, or if you have a business that can express itself in some kind of way that's positive for the community or the world, or a message, or for me, I don't think that's about being a good person or a special person. For me, I think that should be normal for everyone. Yeah. And the reason it's important that it's normal for everyone is because governments are so crap, and they're so transient. They're so transient. So actually, I'm proud of what I've done in 10 years as far as the campaigns and the sort of charity stuff that I've done. But also, like, it seems to be getting more and more popular now, which is good. And not a judge about being a good person or a bad person, but just like doing what's good.
Yeah, food ethics, the conversation around food ethics has completely changed.
Massive. Oh my God.
And even back home.
Oh, but I mean, I think, and also the public just don't realise. I mean, you know, Canada's on the doorstep of America, which is really in the poop. Really. And we ain't perfect in England either. We've got all sorts. But I mean, you know, you think of all the conflict and trouble caused by oil. That's not worth anywhere near as much as food. You know,
rising food prices around the world, and just what that's done to people.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, the big problems in the next 50 years. Obviously, is going to be obesity and diet-related disease, which is sweeping the whole world. You know, obesity alone costs America $10 million an hour. It's kind of going crazy, but the big issue in the next 50 years is going to be water, the lack of it, and the price of it, and how that's going to affect rich countries. Because, you know, if you think about it, most food products, the first thing on the label is water, because it's cheap. This
one here, why traditional cooking now?
Well, this wasn't. I mean, it is about traditional cooking.
Sure. Different regions of the world.
This book was never supposed to be, actually.
Really?
I was on the train going from London to Portsmouth, and it was like 120 miles, and I was in economy class, and the ticket had cost me £96. and I just thought, this is rubbish, you know. And I was reading the paper, and in the paper was a deal for £30 to go to Marrakesh. That's it. We need optimism. Yeah. Come on, you miserable gits. Come on. You know, do you want to go £96 to Portsmouth? Or do you want to go £30 to Marrakesh and spend less money than you would on a Friday night eating some crap and getting drunk and not remembering? Yeah. Go, let's get out. Let's have a long weekend. Yeah. And
get stoned in Marrakesh and not remember it, but it'll be all right.
I don't know if you get stoned in Marrakesh unless it's like on legal herbs. But this book represents 6 stories of that. And we went to Sweden, which is a beautiful country. But, you know, my broadcaster was like, well, why do we want to know about Sweden? Let's just do places like Italy and Greece where we go on holidays. No. And Sweden was the underdog in this book, man.
All we know about is the meatballs at IKEA. There's more to this?
Dude, I mean, you know, it's a really weird country. I mean, it's so beautiful. And, like, the men are beautiful, and the girls are beautiful. Like, I'm like, OK, look, just stop, everyone. Just show me one ugly bastard. Please. Just please give me one ugly person. You know, oh, thank the Lord. You know, but it's a beautiful country. It's clean, it works, it's organised. They have good health care. You know, women have, like, 3 years off for maternity and paid.
Is it healthy food?
The food is like the underdog of Europe. It's kind of like Europe's Japan. Like, their ability, there was always they have harsh winters, so the ability to cure and pickle and dry and contrast, soft and crunch and sourness and the right amount of salt. And it's like, and these sandwiches and the cured fish, it was a very elegant cooking. But then, you know, then they'll have these great stews that give you a slap round the head. And, you know, it's good. And so we just tried to, we had that. We went to Italy, we went to Greece, we went to a crazy part of France that was, you know, one of the blue zones. So it's like one of these, in the world, there's these parts of the world where people live exceptionally longer than anywhere else. Why? And it's funny, we're in these times now where there's people dropping dead at 50, 60. Like, it's actually the first generation, certainly in England and America, probably Canada, where our children are expected to live a shorter life than their parents because of public health and the usual story. But you go to this place in the Midi-Pyrenees and they eat duck fat. They cook chips in duck fat. They eat confit of duck, meat, you know, greens and stuff like that. But they live longer than anyone else. They live until like 110.
There's got to be something going on there.
So that's what it's all about.
Speaking of green, when we come back, we have a question for Jamie Oliver from a very special guest. All that's on the way. More Jamie Oliver right after this.
Cafeteria food will win. These chefs are cooking their hearts out and bringing their A game to serve the kids of this elementary school. These kids have now been waiting over 12 hours for their lunch. Over at the prep station, Jamie Oliver is crying again. Kids' food should be healthy. Why isn't it healthy?
Now you are enshrined to be on South Park.
South Park, I know. That was a good moment, wasn't it?
Had you seen it? Had you hear about it?
No, I heard about it straight away, but, like, you know, it's kind of a cult thing around the world, really, in South Park. So you get this kind of new cred, you know, from different people, not cookbook buyers. You know, yeah, dude, you're in South Park. Yeah. You know,
it's like forget about anything else you've accomplished.
Yeah.
But it speaks to the idea of, like, I mean, you came to America and tried your best to get him to be healthy, and it was not an easy road for you.
No, I mean, both season 1 and 2 of Food Revolution. But, like, I try and be, like, philosophical about what it is that I'm doing and why on earth am I doing it. Because I don't think I can change anything, really. Like, I don't think my job is to change, like, tangibly change something. But genuinely in my heart, I think my job, really deep down, I think that hopefully what I could have done is, like, some 13-year-old kid that's much cleverer than me, got way more energy, that's a local American with technology and phones and, like, communities. I believe that in the next 10 years, hopefully I could have been a tiny part of getting someone really good to really kick ass.
We live in an era now where there's this sort of foodie conversation that exists, and it leads to really bizarre choices. You go to an urban center and people are selling you raw horse to try, you know, whatever it is, and that has a hidden cost sometimes, and that's our celebrity question. We have a celebrity question for Jamie Oliver.
Jamie, this is Kermit the Frog. I need to ask you a rather serious question for me. There's kind of a rise of all these unusual exotic foods. And one of them I'm particularly concerned about is frog legs. Maybe you could comment on that. And be careful.
That's brilliant.
Is that right, eh?
Do you know what was funny? I was cooking sausages today, and guess who was on the show with me?
Who?
Miss Piggy.
How'd that go over?
I've got a picture. I'll give you the picture. Yeah, well, I think that we're in Canada. There's a lot of French people.
Yeah.
I think that Jamie Oliver is the least of his worries.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so what easy recipes would you suggest for the Occupy protesters living in tents?
What, you mean other than pot noodle?
Yes, other than pot noodle.
You know what I'd really love if they just kind of like dug a pit and like just lit a fire and, you know, just for the hell of it, just kind of put the rocks in, fire dies out, dig the rocks out, and just come in with whole lambs. You know,
Old school.
You know, rub with Cajun spices all over, you know, and then put the whole lamb in there and like banana leaves around it, rocks on top. You know, I just wish wouldn't it be brilliant if they were really foodie protesters?
Oh my,
you know,
so great.
and even the policemen that have got to go and bash them later, they're like, dude, that looks really good. If I can have a mouthful of that, I swear I won't. Maybe take this mustard spray and just put it on the BAP. You know, it's like...
The cops might be okay with that. Let me show you a picture of somebody and tell me what kind of menu suggestions would you make for this person right here? What would you make for a Silvio Berlusconi?
Anything that's a natural laxative.
How about...
I met him once.
Did you?
Right, I was at the G20, and for some reason, Naomi Campbell was there. Why a model was there, I don't know. And I got introduced to her, so I was just like, yeah, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. I had 3 seconds to talk to her before Berlusconi just pushed straight in front and literally pushed me out of the way, like, completely rudely. And he just goes, you know, ciao. And he wrote his phone number down and just give it to her, and I'm like, yeah. Go on.
That's fantastic.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right, brother, because I was cooking the lunch that day. So all I'm going to say is I dealt with it.
Did you really? There is nothing like food revenge.
Yeah. Let's just call it Turbolax.
Oh, my God. He's at the dinner. He's like, I put them away.
Yeah.
He had to leave.
I don't think Naomi would like this.
What would you cook? A menu suggestion for this guy here.
Ah! That's me.
That's a young Jamie Oliver.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
I look like a little girl. Where did you find that?
We just dug through your personal stuff. I had your computer password. We hacked in. We found it.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
What did that kid love to eat?
Well, you can tell from my T-shirt, that was the Chicago Pizza Pie Factory. Yeah, just the same as any other kid, really. I mean, I didn't feel I grew up eating anything... Well, we lived in the country, so, you know, there was hunting going on. You know, my dad was one of the sort of original gurus of what you would call now gastropubs. So we had live lobsters and fish coming in on a Tuesday and a Thursday, whole animals. So I kind of ate everything, really. But, of course, I love pizza and burger along with every other kid in the country. But really, you know, mum's spaghetti bolognese, Sunday roasts, fish pie, stuff like, you know, that's the kind of old school.
That's all so good,
stuff.
isn't it? All right, the book here. It's the accidental book, but it's here nonetheless, Jamie Oliver's Food Escapes, and Meals and Minutes as well, which you can watch on the Food Network Canada, which is Jamie's other show as well. It's good to see you, man. We'll be right back.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Thank you.